Don't ask me why I tried to do that. Yeah, the woman comes out here. Don't worry, she's with me. But yeah, my wife started acting really, really strange last night. Almost like a different person, like a demon jumped into her body, and hasn't left since. So I've been asking it, when I'm trying to get myself murdered here. No, when are you gonna let Mina back in to this body here that stands before me, demon? Seriously, like I'm starting to freak out because man, she's always been kind of moon swingy, but today's her birthday and everything, and so yeah, I guess this Sybil only comes out on her birthday, right? Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm not going to try to say hi to everybody in the chat, but I do see it there, and I may be able to catch a question or whatever here and there. But yeah, beautiful day, man. I just recently finally got back into my YouTube account, or my Google account, right? Hey, what's up, I Spy NASA Lies? Gander Franklin in the house. Corey Murphy. What's up, everybody? Yeah, man, it was a long time, I'll tell you. Daniel Kako, thank you, sir, for the super chat. I should read it. That awesome. Oh wow. Do that on my phone. My phone is a piece of crap. Shit. Sorry, y'all. So hell, what was I just talking about, man? That bud got my brain cells. Yeah, hey Karen B, what's up, sweetheart? Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Yeah, it was a nightmare, man. You know, if you get locked out of your YouTube account, and basically what happened was, more or less, I was cyber attacked. Got some really bad malware on both my phone and my computer at the same time, basically, and ultimately, after a long series of events that I'm not going to get into now, my computer won't boot up. It's blue screen of death, and my cell phone I had to factory reset. Was not able to get into my YouTube account because, well, at some point previous to all this, my wife's phone was either lost or stolen, not 100% sure, and so that was the phone that I always used for my recovery, right? So if you can't log in and you don't have your recovery phone, man, it's a bitch because you can't get into your Google account, you can't get into YouTube. You know how that's synced up with everything. So yeah, it's a bitch. And I actually intended to do one video. I started recording it, and about 40 minutes into it, I'm about to start, finishing up and everything. It's still uploading, by the way. So about 40 minutes into it, the phone runs out of space, right? So this is on the video I'm just now uploading. So of course, I shoot a second part because I delete a bunch of files, shoot a second part, and that runs out in like 2 minutes. So the space runs out in like 2 minutes. So of course, the second part uploads first, so that's very confusing and unprofessional. I know. Anyway, long story short, it's just so much easier to do this kind of thing live, boy. So yeah, honestly, guys, it's definitely all about some mud flood, bro. And I don't know, sorry, I don't know what's the best way to say this. I don't think any one sort of word or phrase encapsulates the vast scope of this topic, which is hey, jonesing for some Morgile. Heard that? What's up, Nicholas Brown? You can't encapsulate this phenomenon under one single word. So like you can mention the Tartarians, which appears to be a big part of this. You can mention the mud floods. You can mention basically in general the pre-ancient, pre-diluvian, before the Great Flood, it would appear. Grand, vast, spectacular, fabulous civilization that had certainly different technology. Wow, sorry about that, y'all. Dropped off there. I guess I gotta hold this thing right close to my face. Damn. Don't you love it when things ruin your train of thought? So, okay, what was I saying? Yeah, so it's... Oh, hey, everybody. Okay, so it's not something that you can just encapsulate in one word. Okay, so let's see if my actual wife is back. To try to tell her that I'm live streaming, but oh my god, hold on. Oh my... Hey, I'm live streaming. Okay, so that is the demon that inhabits the body formerly occupied by my wife. Y'all are my damn witness, because this thing has been, sorry y'all, this thing has been threatening me with all kinds of nastiness, so.
Really? You're gonna talk about me on YouTube?
No. You just...
John's wanted in 3 places.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't you love how the rumors are repeated?
That's the truth, man.
So,
He gets money for Chris and he gives it to Babo.
Okay.
For heroin.
Hey, which way are you going? Because I'm going the other way.
Oh, no. I'm going to follow you. I'm on your fucking heels.
Wow. Hey, did you guys expect to get some drama today? I wish I had a better camera. Anything else you want to say to the people on YouTube, Demon?
They already know what you are.
Dude, no, like seriously, I am freaking out. Like, I won't even go in the house with whoever that is. It's really weird. I know you would think it was fucking crazy, right? But, yeah, man, like, last night, we're just, everything was cool. We had a great day. We had actually a good long conversation on Labor Day. Oh, God damn, here it comes again. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so anyway, this topic, okay, the whole mud flood, Tartaria, the Phoenicians. Hey, please don't heckle me on my live stream, Demon.
Idiot. Crackhead, meth head, heroin addict.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those things.
Asshole.
She reads the rumors.
Really?
Dude. Okay. So, she's gonna slam the door on me.
God, no, you do that to me. That's why you went to jail.
Oh my God. Wow, this is fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, you guys. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Word to the wise. Don't get just saying. Okay. So, this whole thing really, we've all been aware of this pre-ancient, pre-diluvian civilization that had just fantastic, phenomenal technology, architecture, definitely different technology. And I think that one of the main things that they used differently was certainly free energy, which is evident by the structures that they build and the sort of the function of these ancient structures. But that's tapping is very annoying. So, also, fuck. Dude, would you please fucking stop that, please? Dude, did you see this demon? Like, what the fuck? That is not my wife, seriously. I mean, it looks like her, but it is something else inside. Like, I'm not bullshitting you guys.
I told you if you mentioned my name on that YouTube, that I was...
I'm live streaming and you're over there tapping on my window with the key.
You had the door locked. Trying to get the clothes out.
I had the door locked because
turn that off right
I don't want you real close to me, so can you please back away, please? Like, seriously, like, back away.
You've made a mistake.
I've made a mistake. Okay, well, can I please have some privacy? Okay, dude, I'm gonna keep trying to trudge along through this, but it is kind of difficult. But what was I talking about? What the fuck was I talking about? So, well, no, I do have some distractions, but I will manage. Okay, so just starting with a sort of fresh thought, I think we can really divide this into two main categories when you're talking about the architecture. Definitely have some consistent qualities of the architecture in the pre-diluvian, so the super ancient or the pre-ancient stuff, which is the super big blocks that appear to be hewn solid stone, like either limestone or marble or whatever, very heavy, very large, heavy stones, and a lot of times they're cushioned, right? So you've got these really cool designs of the bricks, and they've got lots of neat angles, and all these bricks fit together perfectly, right? So they're all cut very intricately, and they fit very neatly and nicely, and what it appears, like if you didn't know any better, like the human body formerly known as Mina, well, would you please, like, get away? You're all up in my shit, man. Like, please, would you back away? You're making me nervous.
You're paranoid.
No. Like, you're totally invading my space, and,
Like you've been doing for 19 years to me.
Oh, that was low. Okay, so we're going to get into a dissing match. Alright, so, no, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that, but I would win anyway, because your disses suck. You need to go get a dictionary if you want to battle me, because, just saying.
That makes you look real big on there, John.
No, like, really, I'm trying to
Don't
see if
put
you're
me
going to
on
grow
there.
claws and cut my head off.
I asked you not to.
Okay, would you please not be all up in my shit? I need
God
to shut
damn,
the
I'm
door.
5 foot of fucking away from
No, I want to shut my door. I don't want two, like, demon eyes scowling at me.
You have got serious problems.
Dude, would you please, thank you, can I shut the door? Like, really? If you want to sit in here, you can sit over there, but, like, it's kind of awkward with you sitting there staring at me like that. I'm going to shut the door. Thank you. Okay, wow. Man, she's not exactly a morning person. Okay, so I think we can divide into two main categories. The real old stuff, which is these big blocks, and what I was saying was, if you didn't know any better, you'd think that it was some kind of concrete, right? But it's not concrete, it's solid stone. But it would be a whole hell of a lot easier to build a form that has these real nice curved edges and polyagonal shape. Pour that into a mold that you've built out of whatever material, and then let it harden up. Now, concrete is really not good for long term. You can make it work, especially with the plaster and stuff, but what it appears, and this is, I mentioned this in the video, but man, that was like such a train wreck. Sorry, guys, I will get all those up, but what it appears is possibility is you've got something that they call geopolymer, right? And I had kind of heard that word years ago when I was looking into ancient alien stuff, right? And I was like, man, those aliens have geopolymer. That's pretty cool, man. 'Cause it makes it a whole lot easier to build these intricate walls with the polygonal bricks and everything. So, what I think is possible is that they're using some kind of a harmonic resonance frequency, so some sort of a sound frequency, and maybe some element of electromagnetism, which they basically harvest for free out of ether using their beautiful and glorious free energy devices. But so you could hit, say, a block of limestone with a frequency and potentially turn into liquid, right? Pour it into the form that you've made out of whatever, and you can put however many sides on it that you want. Make it real nice, beautiful. Spend some time on the form. Pour the liquid that you've just sort of liquefied with this harmonic resonance frequency. Pour it into the mold. Hit it with another frequency that's conducive to the hardening of the limestone, and it would appear, very much like a solid block of limestone. And I submit, if you stack these on top of each other, they're going to meld together like we see in these. I wish I had pictures to show you, but I'm not that high tech. Like I said, my computer is currently out of commission, or it's just kaput. What's strange, this is, tell me, anybody out there, if you can tell me how this makes any sense in a rational sort of world, right? This is a personal thing, but I was given a Netgear network adapter card that the packaging was a bit fishy, and it was from somebody who was not exactly a trustworthy source, apparently. But at any rate, when my computer fried out, I was using this network adapter card, so you can pick up Wi-Fi on a tower computer, right? Because I don't have a Wi-Fi card in the computer, so it's a USB one. Well, the computer crapped out, and I go into the boot configuration, right? Because something's going on with the boot. And what I found, to my surprise, was that the computer was booting up to this Netgear wireless network adapter USB card right down to the port and everything. It was booting up to that first, then to my primary hard disk, right? Well, what I found was that when I booted it up to the Netgear card, it was given the Windows splash screen, the login screen, and then it would do like the startup run bullshit or whatever, and it would then crash. When I took the USB card out and tried to boot it up, it would just boot up to crash. Blue screen. Both times it would go to the blue screen with all the dump files. And so this right here was like, made me start scratching my head. So I go, and by the way, I'm staying in a hotel at this point a couple months ago, and it's a public network, right? So there's no real security on it. And, I had forgotten, but that computer, I didn't even have my firewall on. So, like, I had no sort of security. But anyway, after I realized, or no, I guess it was before I had realized that the boot up sequence it was booting up to this Netgear card, and it had a mock Windows splash screen and login screen, which is very fishy to me because I've owned several of these network adapter cards, and they're not supposed to have a fake fucking Windows splash screen and login. So that's fishy, right? Anyway, I don't know in which order I discovered these things, but at any rate, I went into my user accounts just to see, and the user accounts were, I was running Windows 7, I want to say. It's Windows 7, right? So, like, the users are listed in sort of a generic place, but that you can kind of dig into the control panel a little bit and get a list, like a list of the users for an admin purposes, right? Now, literally, there was like dozens, maybe a dozen and a half to 2 dozen administrative users that were like active on the computer, and I've never seen these administrative users before. And in fact, they had somehow made it to where not only could I not delete these administrative user accounts to get rid of them, but I also it wouldn't let me, like change their status because they had trumped my system privileges somehow to where they had basically locked me out of complete admin controls, if that makes any sense. So there was that. So I'm thinking this is fishy. So I go into like C program files and just sort everything by date modified, right? And what happened was I noticed like a bunch of files that had been updated most recently. Hey, can you guys please pray for my wife because it is her birthday, and seriously, like, this is really weird. Like, again, she has historically been kind of mood swingy, but this is something else. Like, please say a prayer for her because something like jumped in her, and it is a fucking asshole, man. I am so sorry to cuss, but like, I'm kind of freaking out because it has unrelented. Everything that I say or do, she is just like screaming foul obscenities at me and like cussing me out and insulting me. I'm like, what in the world? And this went on since last night. It went on for hours. And like seriously, all of her the expression on her face is changing. Like she's using her muscular differently, all in her face, to where it's a different personality, man. It's not my wife. What the fuck? Now she is a little bit crazy. I'm just saying. Um, no, this is something else though. Like I don't know if maybe. I mean, this is way worse than like the Menzies or whatever. This is like Pimp Daddy Schwarzenegger of intergalactic planetary Menzies. Okay. So aggressive. When I was trying to walk out of the house, and she started punching me in the back, and then shoved me right into the screen door going out the house, and then like is threatening to call the police on me. Like this is, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. It really is crazy. Okay. Anyway. Like, I shit you not, I would never do something like this for drama. I was really hoping and praying that it would not come outside. But yeah, please pray that that whatever is going on in that situation is ibogaine if I have addiction problems. No, I don't have addiction problems. Well, I smoke cigarettes, I drink coffee, and you know, that's about it. Oh yeah, well, when I'm in states where it's legal, and only when I'm in states where it's legal. That green too. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with the best medicine ever invented by God, or maybe improved by the super ancient cultures. That's another thing, man. Like I've thought about, today we have things like Monsanto putting out genetically modified organisms where, like, the benefit is they don't produce any seeds, and that's the benefit. But you have to get all kinds of just weird Frankenstein stuff going on to get that. Whereas what it appears to me is like, take for example a natural grape with the seeds. The seeds kind of suck, but hey, you got infinite grapes, right? That's a bonus. So Monsanto has stepped in, sort of playing God, and basically making it so they are the only ones. They got the monopoly on mofo grapes, cause right. So yeah, that's fucked up. But they're good capitalists, so they get a bozo button in America, don't they? Because everybody knows capitalists shitting on people in order to gain profit. I mean, that is it, cut and dried. I know, we're all sort of capitalists, but yeah, that is the system. You buy low, sell high, and basically step on any heads you can to get as far ahead. So yeah. So in terms of capitalists, Monsanto actually they changed their name and then they just merged with whoever the Bayer, the other evil corporation that brought you heroin, by the way, right? Um, so anyway, I don't know what the hell I was talking about, but you get off on these Tartarian tangents. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So the point was, I've considered this quite a bit. Look at things like apples and natural grapes and bananas. Like fruits are such perfect natural food plants. I mean, you got things that are okay, like sunflower seeds, but you got to eat a million of them, for example, right? But in terms of an apple, it's like the perfect size for people to eat. And, maybe it's by chance, coincidence, God created them there. But have you ever considered maybe perhaps these ancient races were improving on, God's existing creation, like the plants, and maybe what was once a very small berry was not genetically modified using Frankenstein tactics, but cultivated and genetically sort of steered naturally over many generations into what we now have as an apple. It's an interesting thought because, you look at things like, look at the amount of work that you got to go through to get some rice, right? And if you want to feed a bunch of people on rice, you're going to do a lot of work. And yeah, but in terms of something like apples or squashes, right? Um, they're just very nice and perfect for getting, right? So it wouldn't be surprised to me to find that this pre-ancient civilization especially was involved with very interesting horticulture, and perhaps also using harmonic resonance frequencies to improve just all kinds of characteristics with the doggone what's the name, with the trees, with the apple trees, right? Okay, so honestly, we really don't know what the extent of the pre-ancient civilization, the lost kingdom's knowledge and ability was. It really does appear that at some point, this civilization was the pre-ancient one, now the super old one, right? They were wiped out by what appears to be floods and mud floods and basically mountain floods. I'm like so paranoid. Oh man, mountain floods where you'll find like giant pyramidal structures that are like perfectly designed. They got the tall spires, and a damn mountain is like it's like built right in a mountain, right? And so we're told, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, they built this really complex, beautiful structure in the midst of a mountain, which a lot of times it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you think of it the other way, especially considering these people potentially have geopolymer capabilities, where they can hit a giant block of whatever type of hard stone with a frequency, get into liquid form, pop it over into a mold or whatever, and hit it with another frequency and get it back into solid form. If you could do that to build shit, oh man, I gotta quit flipping on that. If you can do that to build stuff, oh, I'm catching bad habits from oh damn, subphotonic, right? Where in the hell is that guy at? I really, really like that dude, but I haven't seen him in a while. Right. So what the fuck was I talking about? Yeah. So if you can use that sort of technology, hypothetically, if it does indeed exist, if you can use it for what's it called? If you can use it for the building stuff, then you could certainly potentially use a different version of it to destroy things, right? So it definitely appears this pre-ancient civilization, and by the way, all ancient cultures, not just the Christian Bible, but every single ancient culture you can think of tells a story of a great worldwide flood. Now, sure, every area is going to get a great flood over a long period of time, but it does appear that there's a consistency to this notion that, man, shite got really messed up at some point, long before we have any reckoning of history. And in fact, it appears that there is some group or entity or entities that are actively seeking out and destroying these this ancient civilization and any remnants of their technology or language. I mean, look at, for example, the Maya, right? That we all know about, right? Damn, sorry. The Maya where they. Oh, sorry. Man, my heart skipped a beat. She's like been attacking me, yo, and I'm so like, okay, yeah, I'm an asshole, I know, but I'm being very nice. Well, I was. I probably seem like I'm being a real asshole to her now, but dude, I've been dealing with just craziness all night. She'll snap out of it, I reckon. She can be a great biatch. I'm saying she really can. I mean, but she just snapped from day to night, like instantly. It was like she got hit with a fucking laser beam or something, dude. I shit you not. Yeah, pray for Mina, please. I loved her for 4 years, and then I didn't kill her for 15 more. I'm kidding, Joe. Okay. Wow, I'm sweating my nuts off. Man, yeah. Normally I would edit all the cuss words, but I'm sorry, you guys. You got to deal with it raw. Right. So yeah, the whatever you want to call them, Tartarians. Mina, when she was actually being normal. Uh, there she is. Yeah, she can't stand it being called Tartaria, right? So I've been thinking of other words, and I think the pre-ancient civilization is a good one, and you can think of your own words because I don't think it was just one thing. Yeah, right. So, okay, fast forward a little bit. So we got after this sort of great flood, and maybe contemporaneous. We don't really know, but there is a sort of another whole style of architecture that is no less grand or beautiful than the monolithic sorts of sites like pyramids. And one that is just phenomenal is Angkor Wat. I'm sure all you guys have looked into it, but man, these sites, when you look at this architecture and take it in and experience it, at least for me personally, it just does something to me, man. It really does stir up my soul. It's beautiful to witness. It's magnificent. I think it's therapeutic, and I think that there were definitely therapeutic elements to the effects of these sort of. Now we're talking like Gothic cathedrals. They're everywhere, man. There's cathedrals everywhere. They're built just superbly, beautifully. Just so much. I've been to the National Cathedral a couple times in Washington, D.C. when I was younger, and it was magnificent, beautiful, massive. But, the thing is, um, we're told that these are religious buildings for Catholicism, especially when you're dealing with the cathedrals, although you do have things like, the Dome of the Mound Towers over in Jerusalem, like the Turkish sort of fat towers just all over the world. You've got buildings that look like something you would expect to see in like royal downtown city of London, but you'll find them over in whatever, I don't know, someplace way different than that. My geography sucks, right? Someplace way different than that. Cambodia, you've got the Angkor Wat, as I said, which is this beautiful, magnificent monolithic structure. So that's sort of stands alone with things like the Taj Mahal and just all these freaking awesome places that you find everywhere. Oh wow, my phone's at 15% battery, so I can't charge it because the demon inhabiting my wife's body won't give me the key. She tried to break the window with the key just a few minutes ago. Yeah, wow. If anything happens, I'm gonna try to get it on tape, unless tape digital, unless what's it called? Yeah. See the stuff I got to deal with, man. This is cray cray. Love her to death, though. I know she'll snap out of it, and I can't blame her for being demon possessed, right? No, I'm kidding. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's like a lesser demon, not an actual full blown demon. Okay. So yeah, you've got the older places like Taj Mahal, Angkor Wat in Cambodia. I'm drawing blanks here. I think the pyramids, which by the way, pyramids are certainly not just in Egypt. There are pyramids all over the world, and especially interesting, I think, are the ones to me in China, because the Chinese government, over decades and decades, I'm not sure exactly when they did this. Um, I kind of assumed that they had done it recently, but for all we know, the pyramids in China are systematically covered up by freaking grass and bushes and trees and bushes and high grass. So you can't really tell from the air that there's even, well, you can tell from the air that there's a pyramid there, but in terms of looking at it from, a far distance off, it just looks like a mere mound in the grass, right? Like, which, there would be exactly what the Chinese government was going for, because basically there is a worldwide government, it doesn't know any borders, this effort by governments to cover up evidence of this pre-ancient civilization, cover up the evidence for the sort of semi-ancient civilizations that are sort of murky in the history. But the architecture of these people stand alone. Um, my wife here, and maybe she popped because I finally just got her interested in mud flood and Tartaria. Although you cannot call it mud flood and Tartaria because she'll say that that's crazy, but she agrees with everything involved with mud flood and Tartaria. So I think it's probably bad names, or we maybe need to come up with something specific to the individual, right? Call it whatever the hell you want. But the fact of the matter is, the architecture speaks for itself. It is a testament to itself. And something that I like to mention, with all of our high technology, civilization, tools, power, electricity, cranes, hydraulics, excavators and bulldozers and bobcats. I mean, there is so much high-tech equipment that goes to building, say, a elementary school that costs $26 million to build, for example. Well, first of all, they have all those equipment, lots of guys that know how to use it, and they basically put up the structures for a school and even hospitals as cheaply as possible, right? So you're not dealing with giant blocks of marble or granite or whatever that you have to. Well, I don't think that they were, sawing it from stones. Maybe sometimes they were, but in some cases, I really think that they had either some sort of geopolymer capability, or imagine maybe scooping, solid rock out like butter and then molding it to whatever you want. Maybe something more along the lines of clay as opposed to a liquid. But you know, maybe something like that's impossible. I don't know. I don't claim to be an expert on geopolymer because it is sort of hypothetical. But I bet you if you could play around with harmonic resonance frequencies enough and some sort of technology that we do not yet understand, and you can, you can mold mountains to your will, I would suspect. Of course, in the wrong hands, that same technology could be used for destruction. So on to the doggone what's the names, the sort of newer one guys, right? These are just beautiful too. And I'm not going to show you pictures, but we know what they look like, right? I mean, dude, I've probably seen 625 million different frickin' Tartarian buildings or Phoenician buildings all over the world in the last few weeks, just researching and just taking it in, man. You really, that's the good thing about Mud Flood, which, man, that's like the Primus song. My name is Mud. Crack you upside the cranium with an aluminum bat. Boy, boy, I'll bear this 6-inch pile of goo. Ah, I fucked it up. Sorry. Oof, man. I feel like I'm just hanging out shooting the breeze with you guys, and I'm sitting here dropping curse bombs. So I know there's all those virgin ears out there listening, and I do not want to offend anybody. So if I offended you, I apologize. But hey, I'm only human, and yes, I do cuss because it's just better. No, I'm kidding. Because I'm a redneck, poorly educated, bad mannered POS. No, I'm kidding. Love you guys. So yeah. All right. So I would say like this is arbitrary and I like the sound of it, but I've sort of been calling in my head the pre-ancient stuff. I call so like the pyramids and the freaking Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lama and like Angkor Wat and all these really monolithic, just beautiful, very clearly very old. And by the way, Angkor Wat is attached to an entire city. It's not just like one grand, beautiful building with all of these what appear to be free energy harvesting towers, but this is an entire city. I don't want to say what it was. I think it was like the size of London or maybe bigger, something like that, with canals and waterways and just beautiful, man. So I like to call those Tartarian just because, I don't know, it sounds like building stuff with big stones, Tartarian or tartar sauce. And then the newfangled ones where I haven't even described yet, but it is very beautiful buildings that have the many arches, Roman arches, and just ornate designs and terraces and just beautiful stuff. So it's like I said, you spend 26 million bucks building a school that's a square box with 4 walls and a ceiling and a floor, and it's going to feel like you're in prison all day because the bricks are not beautiful and nothing's beautiful. If you can find something beautiful in a school, it's definitely a girl. College, right? I'm not talking about none of that other crabo bullshit, right? So yeah, people will put words in your mouth. Okay, so so the I called the newer stuff Phoenician, right? So I guess some of the questions that are being asked, and don't you just love to theorize? Because I think it's okay when it comes to Tartaria. It's good to theorize because we don't have all the answers, and it's just sort of fun to play around with this mystery, man. I mean, isn't it amazing that there is such a mystery that, we've been aware of? Like I said, I've been aware of this pre-ancient civilization for a long time. But when you realize that these mofos definitely had free energy, they definitely had technology that, in some cases, probably surpasses what we have today, and they certainly have technologies that are different, right? So some of these technologies that they appear to have used in ancient Tartaria is sort of a whole nother branch of science that we haven't even explored to the extent, and I guess a good example would be if you haven't seen the movie Dune, D-U-N-E. The original was okay. They remade it, which was okay in its own ways, better in some ways, worse than others. But in Dune, these people could basically create, destroy, I think it was mainly destroy things with their voices, with sounds and contraption. Look at Edward Lee Skolden, right? The guy that built Coral Castle down there in Florida. Yeah. Um, they basically, the two kids that witnessed him building this monolithic structure by himself, said he's basically levitating around giant coral blocks with what look like ice cream cones, right? So it appears, and there's other evidence too, that certain harmonic frequencies can make a day's work a whole hell of a lot easier, or, well, I guess not, because you can get a whole hell of a lot more done in a day's work if shit don't weigh nothing. Oh, man. I feel like I'm at a construction site. I want to go build one of these things, right? Yeah, good luck. It definitely appears that the giants are tied into this, right? So, what makes this sort of phenomenon that we're experiencing now different than what we've all sort of known before? Right? Because we knew about the pyramids, we knew about the Taj Mahal, we knew about all these different places, but everybody was so far off in frickin' left field, thinking it was built by ancient aliens from another planet, right? Everybody's so bugged out on that theory that we didn't even stop to think, hey, wait a minute, man. It looks like there were some super duper smart giants living harmoniously with people for a long time, and it seems like they had shit figured out, man, right? Like these guys were on point with everything. Like it's just the remnants of their culture is just amazing, man. I mean, it's amazing to realize that a lot of this stuff that we see in the 1850s pictures had been around for a long, long time when we sort of showed up here on horses and buggies, and yet, you know, we don't exactly know when these damn things were built. Now, of course, there probably are a lot of modern buildings that were built to sort of a Tartarian style, but in generally speaking, like I said, I'll use the school example because, most cultures will put some money down on the buildings for their schools, for their arts, for their drugs, smoke some joints in there. But there's certain things that you're gonna build nicely for. Courthouse is one, but man, that's a shitty one. But definitely schools. So schools should be one of the best buildings that you're gonna find in a culture, right? What is it, man? There's nothing ever beautiful about a school, and yet they call $25 million is nothing to scoff at, right? So you mean to tell me that long before any sort of cranes or hydraulic lifts or any technology, any of that stuff we take for granted, you can saw through a slab of granite with a skill saw in a couple minutes or whatever, couple seconds, depending on how good you are with a skill saw. Um, but the thing is we could not put together definitely certain elements of things in this pre-ancient culture with the equipment and the tools and the materials that we have to build schools. Schools are ugly. They spend as little time on it as possible. They put it up as cheaply as possible. I mean, drywall, insulation, steel frame, aluminum grid. It's bull, man. It really is. Like, first of all, $25 million. I've built schools, not by myself. Don't you love how they make their money, but it's gotten pretty obscene where, you know, the general contractor sits back and does nothing all day and makes literally millions of dollars every single day in some cases, and the workers are certainly not making millions of dollars ever, and they're literally the ones putting it up. So yeah, not going to get into that conversation, but the point is, with all our money, all our technology, all of our ability as a culture, we sort of slap together some generic-ass, half-ass schools that we don't really give a damn how they look. And in fact, we want the opposite of that. Instead of it actually sort of soothing for your soul, make sure that your mind never escapes that box either. That's the purpose of the educational system. And isn't it fitting that they would pay $25 million for just a piss poor building? You know, compared to what the Tartarians or even the Phoenicians are building, if it's $100 million or $1 billion school built today, the Tartarian shit is gonna whoop its butt. It really is. Okay? And, you know, is it really, do we really want to use the general term Tartarian for everything? Because there are similarities, but like say Cambodia, Angkor Wat compared to Giza, you know, those are as different as night and day. So I think that there'd be even two subgroups within the or two subcultures within the Tartarian or pre-Diluvian, right? Whereas I don't know, I'm going off on this tangent, but there's so many examples of similar architecture. Oh no, I think my phone's dying. Dude. Okay, so if I go plug this in like my car key, if I go plug this in and she attacks me, will you guys sing at my funeral? Dude, I am scared. I'm a lot bigger than her. Face 50 times. That's the stand. I'm sorry, but I gotta do my live stream here. Oh no. Okay. I wonder what happened. Let me plug this stupid thing in. Yeah, sorry, I gotta do my live stream, but I'll try not to bother you too much, okay, sweetheart? I love you too.
I don't love you at all.
Yeah? Okay. Well, it was, hello, can you guys pop in the chat and let me know if you can, hear me at least? Oh no. Pop in the chat, let me know if you can help us.
Shut up, man.
Hey, Bubba's, here's Butt Mutt. I wonder if y'all can see something. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, great. So, but you can't see me, I reckon. Is that correct? Weed and drugs and alcohol clearly, wait a minute, clearly doesn't keep you sober, but cloud your judgment. Well, you know, alcohol definitely clouds your judgment and maybe puts a little spice in your judgment. But weed, I would say, weed, and I think weed is such a derogatory term for the nectar of a state where you can actually think more deeply and you can accomplish things. Certainly, you can have a better time accomplishing things, whatever the case may be. But anyway, so back on topic. I wish I knew what was wrong with my camera now, guys. Do you guys even care? If you do, hang on. I'm trying to see why my screen is froze. I don't understand, people. Let me flip that thing around now. Okay, well I guess you're just gonna have to again. See, they just keep calling. I'm gonna have to block it. Okay. Oh, there we are. Is it people? Can you see me now? Oh, there we are. Okay. Oh, that looks great. Hang on. Oy, oy, oy. Wow. Yeah, so I had the brilliant idea to record this thing first. Recorded of it, then the phone ran out of space. So I deleted some files as that's uploading and recorded another 2 whole minutes, and so hey man, why don't you just stop calling me and get a life? It's that 666 number. They prank me. It's so annoying, but hey, they say when you got haters, that means for every hater you got, there's at least one that loves you, right? Okay. So, and I love all you guys, by the way, and I even love the person that shall not be named. How are you? Quick call me. Okay. All right. So, where were we at? With so many interruptions, but hey, what can you do? It's just a live stream. Yeah, it's the first live stream. Anything I've been able to do in a couple and a half months, I guess, on this primary channel here. And I know that I so can't hold this like that for long. But yeah, it's good. It's good to be back, and I've explained sort of what happened and how it was resolved already. So, wow, I suddenly look like the Unabomber. Wow, the lighting in here is bad. So excuse me, guys, but I'm not going to be as purdy with no lighting. Yeah. So anyway, so dividing up these sort of, we can call them eras in the pre-ancient civilization and sort of the semi-ancient civilization. And again, we really don't know if it was all contemporaneous. So you've got the pyramids going on at the same time as the Taj Mahal, at the same time as Angkor Wat. Maybe they were built at slightly different times, but they do have similarities in terms of their grandeur, in terms of the size of the building materials, which, by the way, the size of a lot of these building materials only makes sense if you've got some giants working with you or some technology that allows you to manage hewn stone much more easily than we do. I remember one time I was but I'm not going to answer you because I'm live streaming. Okay, so what the fuck was I saying? I'm so bad with interruptions, but hey, normally I would keep a little notepad with ideas to talk about. But okay, so working on a school, same one. It actually was a $26 million school. We had to put, it was a single block, like a square block made out of marble. And this thing was, I would guess, probably about 4 foot by 4 foot square block. And maybe it was 6 foot by 6 foot. It was pretty damn big. And there's no way, even if you had 10,000, you couldn't lift it because, well, you know, you can't get 10,000 men to get their hands underneath a block of that size. So you really need a crane, okay? And I'm telling you, that thing took, to get it set just perfectly, and there was no sort of mortar, no sort of adjoining mechanisms. It's just a block that sits on top of the decorative, and it has some engravings on it. I'm telling you, just that one single, I guess it was marble, maybe granite, whatever block, it certainly was granite. It took like, I don't know, because it's pretty damn high up too, and there were some obstacles, and dude, it took like an hour for a guy doing the crane and 2 or 3 guys up on top to guide it down. It's just perfect. With our technology, you can't just slap these giant stones up one after another. And yet, when you look at the example like the Great Pyramid of Giza, the rate at which they would have had to cut and stack these stones if they were actually sawing it out of the bedrock. I forget the number of stones or whatever, but they say that the main Giza pyramid was built in like 25 years, which means they'd have had to saw and place a block of just. Dude, this motherfucker won't quit calling me, and it's really on my nerves. Dude, quit sweating my nuts, bro. Stop calling me. I'm on live stream, dude. God. Alright. Yeah. So, but anyway, they would have had to put up 1 block to build the Giza pyramid like every minute or whatever. It's just ridiculous. There's no way it could happen. Said, right? It didn't go up in 25 years in that sort of fashion. Now, if they had Edward Lee Scoudon type technology, maybe using harmonic resonance frequencies to very easily move such stones. Man, I bet you could throw that thing up just by commanding the technology, right? Like, you could just tell that motherfucker, you could be like, man, whatever the word is for pyramid in ancient Tartarian, I don't know, right? But it's possible. Like, I don't put anything past these people because, like, honestly, the feel of a lot of these pre-ancient places, like Taj Mahal, is just a very beautiful one. It's not the most complex or even the largest, but Taj Mahal, it does something to me. I love it. It almost appears though like it was built in a day, and as a matter of fact, I think that that's part of the legend behind that. Is that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's Taj Mahal. It's like, yeah, they say it was built in a day, right? And so that just sounds ridiculous, and I'm sure people will say, oh, that's a myth, that's lies, they're trying to aggrandize themselves or whatever, right? But you know, I don't know. That feel to it where, you know, you didn't have hundreds of people working on that thing for hundreds of years. Like, I don't know, how long would it take to build the Taj Mahal with a donkey, right? I mean, it would take a long ass time to build it with today's technology and then all the decoration. So, yeah, but just the way that, I don't know, the consistency of it, the way that things, you know, just fall together, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that that thing was built in an hour. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they had to do some paint and touch-up work later, but I wouldn't put anything past them. These people, whoever they were, whether you want to call them Tartarians or, you know, it appears like it was all races were living together, right? That's what it seems like. And again, the Bible says that after all this, the languages were confounded, and so, you know, we definitely live in a world of racism today. I'm personally not racist. I hate everybody equally. No, I'm kidding. I love everybody equally, and if you give me a reason to hate you, then that's on the individual. It should have really no reflection on their entire race, although certainly generalities can always be made, and stereotypes are kind of fun, comedic ammo, right? But you can't judge people based on exterior or that's ridiculous, but instead, you know, the content of their character, as Martin Luther King said. So yeah, it is. It's definitely something that, you know, trying to answer the question. The question being, what is different now when we're looking at this as a mud flood as opposed to what we knew then? And I think the mud flood part does have a lot to do with it, man, because this goes to show, I think, when you start realizing, man. For example, if you're going to build a building, don't matter how big it is, in most cases, 99 times out of 10, you want to try to get the ground as level as possible for the footprint of the building, and you want deep enough to support the entire weight of the entire building. So the taller the building, the deeper the basement has to be in order to give it that sort of Yisdraggle stability, you know, the tree of life stability. You want it level, okay? Well, there's buildings all over the damn place where they're built into the side of a 45-degree angle hill, okay? Just sort of a stupid place to build a building, but when you realize that the ground level is sort of cutting right directly through some windows and there's levels beneath the ground, and it's not just one or two places. You can find examples of this everywhere, and probably you've seen them in your own town.
Call out shelters, dumbass.
Okay. Well, thanks for that input. What the fuck was I just saying? So yeah, it was, you find these everywhere, where it definitely does appear that the earth was just sort of, blanketed on these, on the base levels of these structures, varying several floors in some cases. Washington, D.C. Capitol. The Capitol buildings, I think, are another sort of element of their own. Dude, motherfuckers be blowing me up, man, and I'm so totally gonna just, I don't know, if I answer it, will it stop the stream, you guys? I have no idea. Whatever. Answer it and block them, I don't know. But the Capitol buildings, you know, like the very Greco-Roman looking buildings, maybe we could categorize those as a sort of type of their own. The point being, though, is it really appears that all of these sorts of buildings, the cathedrals, the Capitol buildings, and the very fancy sort of Phoenician buildings where it's just a beautiful thing. You can tell these structures just at a glance because when it hits your eye, it's like eye candy and it stirs your soul up. And you can pretty much bet, without much closer inspection, 9 times out of 10 you're right, that it's one of these examples where the building was already here when we sort of stumbled upon it as they apparently colonized these pre-existing cities and then continued building on top of the old cities. And that's another thing too, man. I always kind of tripped out at how old cities exist underneath the new cities, right? And my wife and I often were like, how the hell do you build a city on top of a city? Like, you got to be damn good, first of all, but you also kind of got to kind of be damn stupid too, right? Because who the hell is going to try to build a building on top of another building, let alone on top of another freaking castle, right? But it makes a lot of sense when you realize that the level of the ground apparently changed suddenly, like overnight, like instantly, and basically dried into mud and rock, right? And see, that's another thing too. Let's take a little crack at geology, man, because I got a bone to pick with geology in a sense that there is a lot of theoretical geology. So, for example, if any scientist tells you that he knows that a stone is 300 million years old, for whatever reason, doesn't matter why he says that, you have to say, now wait a minute, so you saying that this is science, how many scientists were there around 300 million years ago, right? Because wouldn't you have to study rocks for at least a couple million years to know what's going to happen to, say, clay or whatever? No, we've barely scratched the surface on a million years of experience as to what's going to happen to my left sock when it, corrodes. Who knows, man? But the point is, we have lots of evidence that because really geology sort of hinges on this theory or this premise that rocks and certain types of crystals and diamonds form very, very slowly. Stalactites, for example, form very slowly over long periods. That's sort of, you have to believe that, and if you don't believe that, you're kicked out of geology, right? Like you would fail every geology class if you don't believe that. But the thing is there's a lot of evidence to the contrary, right? Where you've got things like, for example, a hammer. I think it's in London, Texas. The London hammer or something. But it's a hammer that is basically embedded into a solid chunk of rock, right? So you can tell that this rock was more or less formed around this hammer, okay? So what that means is that either the hammer's hundreds of millions of years old, as the geologists claim, or the rock doesn't take that damn long to form. And it's plainly obvious the rock doesn't take that long to form. In fact, stalactites have been claimed to take, I think it's like 100 years for a cubic inch or something like that. It's ridiculous. However, you can find instances of stalactites that have built inside known human-built structures from recent years. So in a decade or two, there's like 5-foot-long stalactites. So another one, I believe there was a boot that was definitely manufactured in the 1970s with a fossilized human foot inside, right? And the human foot is literally made out of 100% rock. You know what I mean? It's heavy as a mofo, and it's a foot that's got veins in it and bones. A human foot inside a boot that is a rock. Okay, so the concept that that rocks take millions of years to form is complete baloney. It is scientismic dogma that people are forced to gobble down and then regurgitate. And anyone that disagrees with the premise that rocks take millions of years to form or whatever, like lava can harden, but it takes millions of years to form into the whatever the hell kind of rock. It's baloney, man. It's garbage. It's just, we might as well put them in the bucket with NASA. And not all geology, okay? Sure, there's some good elements to geology, but anybody that tells me that they know that a natural rock thing is even 1 million years old, I'll say, okay, well, you wait around a million years and then you can confirm that. Other than that, it's a theory, and when you have evidence to completely blow that theory out of the water, as I just mentioned, it becomes clear that there is absolutely no reason to think that rocks, large mountains of rocks even, can't be formed literally overnight. Okay? Doable, bro. It's doable, and I believe that the technology is attainable to be able to do this sort of thing. Now, you know, Nikola Tesla is definitely a character that pops up. I'm not going to answer your call, bro. I'm sorry. I love you, man. I do, but I'm doing a live stream. Sorry. Hopefully you're watching. Man, if I'm plugged in, why does it say low battery? Hey, do you guys mind if I go roll me a cigarette real quick? Well, even if you do mind, it doesn't matter because I'm going to do it anyway. All right, hold on, y'all. Holla if y'all hear me. Yeah, it's just going to take me a second there, fellers. Man, it's so glad to be back. I love having, 100 people in my living room or whatever. It's very nice. At least y'all don't talk at once. Hell, at least y'all don't talk at all. In there. Hang on, y'all. I'm like the worst host ever today, but I'm a bit rusty, man. You know, it's not like riding a bike. It's hard to be NASA. It's hard to be NASA. Yeah, man. Where the hell is doggone what's the name, man? Everybody's kind of worried, or is there any news about subphotonic, man? I need to get my daily dose of mofos. Yeah, these people are very cute for calling me, but it is getting kind of old. So, okay, I wanted to, I want to just get this in there. I did put this in the video, but it came to my attention that my friend and colleague Bob from the Globebusters, was talking about me, giving me a shout out on Globebusters a couple weeks ago, right? So I listened to it, and basically encapsulating what he said in a nutshell, is that I am probably not going to be on the show anymore, which, okay, that's fine. It will break my heart a little bit. No, I'm kidding, I'll live. Calling me, man. Esoteric Eric, man. Yeah, bro, just get a life, bro. I'm saying, I love you though, man. Love you, bro. Okay, so what the fuck was that? It is so aggravating. What was I saying? That doesn't. Oh yeah. So Bob is saying that basically I'm not going to be on the Glowbuster show. I'm going through specific personal problems, and he also wants to give me some advice, some life advice that he believes I need to hit rock bottom before I can, do whatever. And the funny thing is, though, seeing how Bob is, this expert on my personal life, I hadn't talked to Bob the entire time between the last time we were on Glowbusters together and the time that he's making this comment. Okay, he didn't call, he didn't text, and I would have probably emailed them, but don't really get emails back from Bob much. But I would have called him or texted him, but again, I was locked out of my Google account, and I had factory reset my phone, so I had no contacts on my phone, man, for a long time. And by the way, shout out to everybody that did text me and try to get back up with me. I was able to build some of my contacts up, and then of course, now that I'm back in Google, I'm able to import all my contacts, and that's golden for now, right? And how do I have low battery? Reals, quit calling me, man. right now. Like, call me later or something. I don't even know you. Okay. So, with another glorious interruption, man, when I get them good, don't I? What the hell was I talking about? Okay, so Bob Nodell is now an expert in my personal life, even though I haven't talked to him in months, and he's basically, telling people broadcasting across the airwaves that he doesn't know shit from shoe polish when it comes to this particular topic, my life. Yet he feels that he's qualified to give me advice about hitting rock bottom. Okay, well, I don't really apply that to reality, Bob. So maybe you should understand what you're talking about before you go broadcasting word salad onto the airwaves, okay? So don't be shooting salad on me and get my name out your mouth if you don't know what you're talking about. But I still love you, Bob. Love you, Jaron. And yeah, I'll be happy to do a show with you. And I'd be happy to do a show with you guys whenever. But, it's been some rough times, and being, basically locked out of my YouTube account for months has not made it any easier. But thank God, we're back on, and now I just got to get my computer going, and it'll be gravy. But at least I can do these terrible quality live streams where I'm hunched over, attached to a cord for you guys as much as possible, because I love you, and I love. Man, I can't call it mud flood because then my wife will kick me. If I call it Tartaria, she'll punch me in the head. But I think, pre-ancient cultures that existed beyond the scope of our current technology in many ways. It's just a glorious thing. Again, it's definitely like the matrix of this thing, or the backbone of this entire thing in our collective conscience for years. But I just don't think that we ever really put it together to this level. But so many things fit together. So, like, here's another useless piece of trivia that goes with this. I remember watching a documentary, so it must be real because I've seen it on TV. But no, there was a mummy in Egypt, which they found tobacco or nicotine, which is supposedly indigenous to South America, right? As well as cocaine, perico, cocaína. Right? And so this doesn't fit to, when it comes to frickin' world trade back in those days, whichever days they were. So, what does that right there prove? Well, either it proves, I don't know, maybe there was some trade between South America and Africa, and when, oh, wait a minute, I thought the Americas were only discovered in the 1400s by Christopher Columbus, right? So, no, that's wrong. And by the way, you can look at these maps. Now, we don't know exactly how old the Egyptian mummies are. Maybe we can get pretty close, but carbon-14 has been around for so many years, right? And so we don't necessarily know how something is going to behave over, say, 10,000 years versus 20,000 years, or 5,000 years versus 10,000 years. I mean, there may be some variables that we have not yet witnessed. Observing and measuring carbon-14 data for 10 or 20 years, or 50 years, or 100 years even, whatever the number is. But that's really the scope of your 100% accuracy. I mean, sure, okay, if you have an item that you know is 100 years old, somehow you know it, right? Then you carbon-14 date it to be sure, and it comes close. How could you really tell the difference between that and something that's 5,000 years old? What if there's little difference between 10 and 5,000 years for some reason? I mean, I don't know. I'm no expert at carbon-14, but I understand the scientific process, and you have to observe and measure things at some point. You can't just go on theory and patterns forever, right? Because theory and patterns, to some degree, you can certainly extrapolate out to some degree. However, man, 100 million years, get out of here with that garbage, man. I can't even call someone a scientist that says, yes, I know that this rock is 100 million years old. Man, get out of here with that. That's crazy talk. that's it's naive and why would you keep calling somebody like that? Just get a life, bro, or call me later. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but man, it's really not cool, brother. I still love you. Still love you. Damn, folks. You feel better, baby? Well, I guess that's a no. Like, dude. But honestly, I'm not sure what element exactly it is that has really swept me off on this topic, other than the concept that, well, we got to talk about the fires and the, what's it called, this world. So you look at San Francisco, man. I'm reading these comments, like, people are just wild, bro. Like, there's a child involved and this, carbon 14. Oh, carbon 14, sorry. I mean, people just make up garbage and put it on the threads. Like, you have nothing better to do with your life than type fucking nonsensical garbage into comments threads. It's ridiculous, man. I just don't see how people have the time on their hands to live a life and do just ridiculous bullshit like that. Okay. Oh yeah, do you guys want to see Butt Mutt? Y'all want to see Lily? Well, I don't know how to turn off the ringer without messing up the stream. Peter Feltman says, no, John, you need help. Yes, I need help keeping people from giving me advice because, you know, never met you, Peter Feltham. Sure, you're a good guy, but you know what? If you think I need help, like what? Do I need help tying my shoe? Do I need help? Like what? Yes, I need help because the world is basically retarded. The majority of people think the Earth is a spinning globe still, in spite of much valiant effort and progress on the side of the flat earthers. And basically, I almost got shot in the head for convincing my wife that there is something to. Okay, shot in the head. Shot in the head is a bit of a stretch, but hey, it's YouTube. We have some creative liberties here, right? And I can be blown up by.
What about me? You can't.
I can be blown. No, I wasn't. Oh my God. Yeah, take it personally. Even though I wasn't talking about you at all in that sentence. Wow. So I'm dealing with a physical heckler in my living room. People blowing up my phone. Comments, trolls, and then of course the few bare bones of the nucleus, man. I do feel some love out there. Love you guys. Hey, can y'all tell me how many people are watching live? I have no idea how to. I never ever stream from my phone. But if you guys just put in the chat like how many, there's 4 of you guys and 25 trolls, then I'll probably just peace out. But 85? Oh wow. Okay, cool. Well, most people like definitely didn't know. Oh, 87. I spy nationalized. Oh, well, Peter Felton, 85. Okay. Hey, Peter Feltman, you need help because I Spy NASA Lives had a bigger number than you. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure you need help with something. We all do need help, so you're right. I mean, that is good advice. Everybody needs help with something. Yeah, so that's good advice, and I'm sorry for being such a prickly little monkey, but hey, man, what can you do? But, you know, this topic, Tartaria, mud flood, it sweeps you off your feet because there's something that we, I think, especially as flat earthers, have inherently known. I mean, this could go into the ley lines too. So, you know, it wasn't just sort of random or by happenstance that all these ancient sites are built on ley line intersections, right? And the ley lines are the energy lines of the earth, the energy grid pattern of the earth. It's not by coincidence. It's by design that all over the world there are these just very grand and fantastic, beautiful structures that happen to fall right in these intersections of ley lines, right? So that's not chance. Oh my God, man, so fucking annoying. Yeah, the ley lines is definitely something to that, and the fact that they are all over the world, it's not just 1 or 2. There's a pattern here. You know what I mean? It's something to this. Oh, let me go get Lily. Y'all didn't get to see her. Here goes Muffin Head. Here, Muffin Head. You want to sit with me, baby? Come here. Oh. Yeah, the lighting in here is terrible, but here's Muffin Head. Oh, she doesn't show up on camera at all unless it's all the way light. But she's still a little butt mutt. My shit's a cockapoo. And she's doing well. She's got some skin irritation. She needs a flea pill, but she just had a bath and she's so keen and so. Maybe you can see her tongue if she licks her nose. That's about the only thing you're going to see with Bubba's. But there she is. Hey, you want a woof, baby? Want a woof? Nah, she ain't gonna woof. Okay, so, yeah, it's a little hot in here. I seem to be breaking a sweat, and the lighting is just awful. So, yeah, like, you guys are like, man, TheMorgile sure is ugly. He needs help. Well, don't use backlighting with the 5 o'clock shadow. I'm not that damn ugly, okay? Right. I don't care. Honestly, I'm very blessed because I just don't care what people think of me, and it has served me very well not to have the burden of, people's opinions really weigh too heavily on me. I do empathize, and I love people as long as they're not complete douchebags. But yeah, you get the drift. So anyway, so there's Butt Mutt. Maybe can you see her now? No, she's too black. If she licks her nose, you might can see her tongue. That's about it. So yeah, love her to death, and she's doing good. So we talked about the ley lines. Man, there's just so much. The underwater mega structures, the monolithic structures underwater are always an interesting point because I think it goes to show you, well, we're pretty sure they didn't build these underwater, right? Probably not. Like, it's going to be real tough to build a pyramid underneath the ocean. So I think that's very strongly supported to say that it was once dry land and the oceans have somehow shifted, right? And I think that there is topographical or map evidence of these sort of mass shiftings of waters and lands in relatively short periods of time. And again, this is all supporting the concept of massive mud flooding. And whether this is intentional or some sort of natural phenomenon, that remains to be seen. There are some interesting theories and evidence for things like the devices that are used, but I mean, we really don't know if it is maybe 100% natural sometimes. I mean, when you're dealing with mountain-sized movements of rock that may be in a liquid form at some point, but not necessarily lava. Yeah, I don't even know, like, if you use this sort of hypothetical technology where sound frequencies are used to sort of change the state of matter, are you going to get that red hot lava, or is it going to be more of a malleable liquid? We don't know that sort of thing, but I think that it's going to be very interesting as we progress along in this to see where it leads. Now, I'm not sure that we are going to be able to figure this out on our own. However, I think that the best possibility would be to somehow find the, the writings or the. Yeah, my train of thought ain't worth a damn. Yeah, I totally lost my train of thought. Can someone please tell me what the hell I was talking about? I need to. I'm making a fool out of myself. Well, thanks for the encouragement. No, that was very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Hey, what are you doing? Okay, so yeah, but anyway, so when you're looking at some of the size of mountains that's been moved, got my train of thought back. It was a sort of a man-made technology because it's really hard to fathom moving mountains, right? However, when in terms of natural stuff, like, a single wave of water and what you can see on the beach, I mean, the amount of energy in that single wave of water is immense. I mean, I don't even want to get into it. It's a lot of energy in that one single wave. Could you imagine, hypothetically, a mountain-sized wave of liquid granite? that's a lot of energy. And again, we do see these sort of monolithic structures that are built into mountains, it appears, or perhaps it's mountains that have sort of encroached upon or were sort of dripped upon the existing structures, right? Though, so yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. It really is. And does everybody have wrenches? I don't even know if I'd be able to give out wrenches, but I've heard tell of people losing their wrenches. So if you don't have a wrench, and I feel that you deserve one, I'll try to give you a wrench. But I don't know. I'm really bad with this whole live streaming on the phone thing. Okay, so man, haven't even scratched the surface on it, but I did want to touch on the cathedral some more because there was a bit more I want to talk on that. I'm just all over the place, right? But I've always been a lover of classical music. You can call me whatever you will. I would say J.S. Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, would be my favorite composer. And besides the guitar, I would say that the pipe organ and harpsichord are a close second. But honestly, in terms of grandeur and scale, capability, and just the power, there's nothing that even comes close to a grand pipe organ. I mean, that is a machine that gets annoyed by people calling from New York. Yeah. No, it's a machine that really puts out a very wide range of frequencies, from the very lows on the foot pedals to the super highs on the top keyboard, and the power of it. Now, man, could you imagine if these cathedral devices, which they appear to be, and did I ever get around, oh man, I did the whole video, I don't know what I've talked about on the video that I recorded, 3 sections of, because my phone kept running out of space, then this one. So I'm not sure if I talked about the static electric charge, right? So basically, if you've got a tower, like these towers go up hundreds of feet sometimes, right? Structures, whether it's Gothic cathedrals or the Taj Mahal, all the grand designed buildings. For every for every yard that you go up in altitude, you gain 100 volts per meter in static electric differential. So static electric charge goes up 100 volts per meter. So the taller you build your tower, the more potential electric energy you have at your fingertips if you can harness it. So basically, stone, especially metallic stone, has a magnetic field of supporting magnetic fields. And so basically, much like we people have a magnetic field. So, man, we got to get into this sidetrack rabbit hole, but then you guys got to remind me to go back to the whole 100 volts per meter thing, because I got to get sidetracked on this real quick. Sorry. Okay, so the human heart is the center of our aura, the center of our magnetic field. Like if you get an image of the magnetic field, it's centered on the heart. So of course, modern pharmacopoeia science comes in and says, well, the center of the magnetic field is on your heart, therefore your heart is generating the magnetic field, right? It's very linear, sort of left brain thinking that we're very familiar with in the physical world, right? Here's the center that your heart's making the magnetic field. But if you break that down, what they're saying that pumping blood through a meat pump, your heart, is going to somehow generate a magnetic field, which to me is absurd. I mean, it's preposterous, right? It doesn't make any sense. But if you go back to the ancients, like look at the Vedics and the Yogadus, the Hindus, right? They have what they call prana. It's the etheric energy, or the natural 0 point static electric charge, earth energy, natural energy. They call it prana. And basically, what they believe and what they teach, or what they understand, right, is that prana is absorbed by every living organism, us included, from the ambient atmosphere. So essentially, in a sense, we are free energy devices. Plants are free energy devices. But mud's a free energy device. Every living thing is a free energy device, right? So we are naturally harvesting prana from the ether and into usable electrical impulses, okay? So we don't get our energy from our heart. We don't get our magnetic field from our heart. We rely upon the prana generated by the earth in order to survive, okay? Same thing with trees. I mean, it goes all across the board, okay? So this is what I understand to be true. It makes way more sense to me, knowing what we know now, than, oh, the meat pump is a generator. The meat pump is a generator. That is the most retarded thing I've ever heard. And I know I'm bashing on the rereads. I'm sorry. I love you guys. It is a word that I really love to use. Rolls off the tongue. And if it offends you, I'm sorry. But it's like, come on, man. Come on. It shouldn't offend you, even if you're a complete reread, because you don't even know. I'm not going to go there. Yeah. Yeah, free energy device. So anyway, 100 volts per meter in static electric charge as you go up. The way I understand how this works is, so let's say I'm 1.5 meters tall. I don't know if that's right, but it's easy numbers, right? So if I'm a meter and a half tall, then you've got 150 volts at the top of my head of electric potential between the top of my head and the ground, right? So why am I not zapped by 150 volts? Basically, the magnetic field generated by our body, or encompassing our body, generated by the earth itself, and spread out across our aura, is essentially bending up the Earth's static electric charge up and around our aura. So we're basically blocking off that path, so we're not constantly struck by lightning, if you will, for lack of a better phrase. Now, if you were to wear a very pointy hat, right, a very tall pointy hat, you could perhaps tap into the layers of above you of static electric charge that are not being sort of depressed by your magnetic field. Okay, so the same principle applies to these large monolithic buildings. Okay, so the monolithic buildings at the Taj Mahal or whichever tower it is, it holds a charge. Okay, and so it is also bending up and around the, or it is causing to become concave this static electric field. It goes up and around the ground potential of the object. Okay. Now, on top of these towers, you always have these sort of Gothic spires that are pointing up to the heavens, and we're said that that's why the Gothic architecture was invented, was to signify pointing to the heavens. Yeah, right. Okay, no, it had nothing to do with that. It has a real function, and man, they make these things beautiful too, don't they? Tesla's was alright, Warncliffe was alright, right? But it was just nothing compared to what these ancients had. And so when you have these super duper tall spires, these huge towers, hundreds of feet tall, it does appear that they are somehow harvesting this etheric energy, this prana, and putting it to some good use. Right? And there's even really old pictures, 1850s, mid-1800s pictures of cities where there's hardly any people there. They've got all these glorious Tartarian buildings, and they built all that with their donkey, of course, without any cranes. But you'll see the, oh damn, what the hell? Excuse me, guys, sorry. How's everybody doing, by the way? But yeah, you'll see light posts, right, standing up in these really old cities that appear to be original, because like they match all the other stuff, and they appear to be that very high quality design and material that we associate with Tartaria, and not so much with our modern stuff. But light bulbs sort of planned into the very grounds of the city itself, before there should have been light bulbs all over the city. If the light bulb had been invented, sure, they weren't plans of cities from 50 years ago, right? About that before, and they're freaking annoying, dude. You people call me over and over. San Francisco, if you can look at these old pictures of San Francisco, where at the time where the picture's taken, there's supposedly only like a couple thousand people living in San Francisco. And this is a big, big city. San Francisco is huge, bro. There's to it. and you can get these overhead pictures of the entire city, like a panoramic. I would pull it up, but again, I suck at this. Um, but there'll be hardly any people there, even if, according to the historical data, there was just a couple thousand people in all of San Francisco, and yet they're able to build these massive roadways. Well, let's talk about the roadways alone. Do you know how much work goes into digging out the foundation for a road, pouring everything, laying it, getting it, compressing it? Yeah, dude, that is a lot of work. And in San Francisco, you look at these pictures, and man, I'm telling you, with modern technology and bulldozers and caterpillars and excavators, you're talking about something that's going to take you 20 years. And yet, according to history, like all this stuff, including all the beautiful ornate buildings that seem like they've been sitting there for quite a while when the picture's taken, you know, they say they built all this in 20 years, right? It's absurd. Like, there's no way we could do that in 20 years. And so what it appears is that, as crazy as this sounds, that a lot of these, a lot of the infrastructure for the civilizations and the cities that we have today were already in place when people just sort of settled their set their stuff down and just moved in. And I guess what, could you homestead like entire buildings? Is that how people like Trump made their millions? They just sort of moved in and claimed it and said, everybody else, you got to pay me to live here because I built it. I mean, that is such a typical capitalist, like, just step on your brother's head to get a little bit further ahead in the bucks. You know, just bleed everybody dry so that you can get a little bit richer or way richer. You know, oh, hell with all the rest of the people. You know, my brother, charge them more and more money every year, to the point to where, you know, in San Francisco, some of these apartments that exist in the really old, high quality buildings that were apparently there way before people got there, we're going to charge you today, I don't know, what does it even cost? $10,000, $150,000 a month to live in these places that you just because, well, you're dicks, right? That's the only thing I can say. Like, who would do that? Like, if you found an entire city, would you be like, how can we scam everybody forever? And that's wrong, right? No, I think what I would do is say, man, how can we share this with as many people as possible and, you know, add to it and just, you know, improve things, because hell, we've all got a place to live for free. Here it is, you know, the lights are free, free energy. I definitely believe that they had that, and this has been covered up, right? So, the World's Fair is another one in San Francisco in the 1800s. Just gorgeous, massive structures that, man, in 100 years to this quality that they make them in these World's Fair. Supposedly temporary buildings. They've got entire roads that are already laid for the World's Fair when it's supposed to be swampland, and you know, the trees are cut down and the grass is manicured, whatever. Pedicured grass. The grass has toes too sometimes, duh. So, yeah, so they put up these just fantastic, phenomenal, just beautiful feng shui. I mean, the amount of positive descriptors for ancient, you know, Tartarian architecture, you could go on and on forever, making up new positive descriptors, and you still wouldn't get it, man. It is, like, honestly, I think when I die, I want to be a Tartarian structure, right? Like, I'd like to be, like, in there, man. It's awesome, right? So they supposedly built this ornate, very difficult stuff to build very quickly in order to have a fair there, which, by the way, the fairs in the 1800s are like 10 times better than the fairs we get today. Today we get fairs where like some crackhead puts together the gravitron where he forgets to put a pin in there, Ryan, and you go flying off into the popcorn stand at 100 miles an hour because of centrifugal force, which doesn't exist. Therefore, the Earth isn't a spinning ball, right? But yeah, man, the fairs back then were phenomenal, dude. Like top notch. They spared no expense. I mean, it was like something that a king would live in forever. Actually, maybe, yeah, through eternity. And yet they're building it for the World's Fair for a temporary situation that, yeah, they're going to tear most of it down later. So, but the thing is, though, the world's fairs, a lot of these, or all of them, appear to have, these buildings have already been there, man. This is like palaces, dude. They look like ancient palaces in San Francisco in the 1800s. Right? I mean, it's just, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So, okay. So gonna block you people when I figure out how. Vincent Garzon is not a troll. Well, I'm glad you're not a troll, bro. I love you, dude. So here's another thing I was discussing with my wife yesterday before the change. You remember the rice experiment? You remember the rice experiment? So for those who don't remember the rice experiment, what it is, you take a bunch of rice and you cook it. Right? You put a little bit of the rice into you get 3 mason jars, 3 large mason jars. Put some rice into 1 mason jar, 2 mason jars, 3 mason jars. What's the problem? So in the first mason jar, you separate them in different rooms of the house, but similar conditions, similar light, similar temperature. And the first jar, you basically love. You know, tell the, and you put writing on it, like love you rice, and rice is the best, and just positive things you write on the jar all over it. And every day, a couple times a day is better, you speak to the rice and you have positive intentions. Oh, you're the best rice ever, and I want to take this rice to the prom when I. So just positive things to that mason jar of rice. So that's your positive jar, and you say nice things to it every day. The second jar of rice, you just leave it alone. There's your control. And the third jar of rice is your bitch. You don't like this jar of rice, you're going to write all kinds of nasty things like, rice's mama's so fat, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And you, every day, a couple times a day, you say negative things to the rice. And after a few days only, but definitely within a week, you'll notice that the positive intent rice is very vibrant and fresh. The control may be a little bit brown, a little bit wilted, and the negative rice that you're kind of putting out on the corner, right? You know what I mean? Put that rice on the corner. It's going to be like brown and definitely proof that with our intent in our words, vibration with intent, can alter the natural world around us without any physical interaction. Now, to me, that's really important, man. That's key, because it does prove the principle, at least, that our intent and our vibrational patterns that we create are having some sort of a natural effect on the world around us. Okay, so this is amazing. Now, what's that? Oh, okay. All right, well, love you. Man, that's really weird, dude. It's so weird. Like, I mean, I think, dude, is this like a schizophrenic episode? Like, seriously, this is very strange. Oh my god, I'm kind of worried, but at the same time, I think she needs help, right? Just like Jude said. Okay, sorry to keep on involving you guys with this personal drama, but like I wanted to get it out there because honestly, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a person go from like, we were literally talking mud flood stuff all day yesterday, had a great conversation, and then just out of the blue for no reason, like the whole facial expressions changes, and it's nothing but vitriol and insults and screaming coming from her, which we've been married 20 years, so, you know, I do get my fair share for a baseline of that stuff, but this is way over the top. This is like, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is, I don't know, 11. So hopefully this will subside, but, yeah. Ooh, man, I keep getting sidetracked. How long, can you guys tell me how long I've been going? Oh, I see it, an hour 40? Oh my god. Time flies when you're on Tartaria. So I guess people are dropping off to the live stream. Do you, I guess, want to hang out any longer, guys? Or let me get a thumbs up if you like the show so far. Morgile is most certainly changed. Yeah, well, I'm holding a phone in my hand, hanging up on calls that come in every 5 minutes. So forgive me for not being so elegant. By the way, my phone is plugged in. I'm hunched over it, so this is kind of awkward and precarious. And it's bad lighting, so I probably look like some kind of a cave troll or a goblin or whatever. But no, it's just bad lighting, bro. Bad lighting, man. And this whole situation I've got. But I kind of like the ruggedness of having to physically hold the phone in my hand while the cord is attached to it, keeping me at not quite a comfortable position. So it does shake a bit, but hey, man, that's the important stuff. So one person, thumbs up. Okay, so Morgile is acting strangely. Well, I've been saying the Earth's flat since 2015, so strange is sort of a given, right? I mean, that's not really telling me much. But yeah, it is. I'm sorry. It is a bad sort of setup here, and I'm trying to show y'all as much love as I can. This topic is something that I would say is probably bigger than Flat Earth, but it is, this is like so aggravating. Fucking people. It's bigger than Flat Earth in a sense that we're talking about potentially entire civilizations being altered by what appear to be, well, parasitic extraterrestrials. Potentially, right? So let me explain. When I say extraterrestrials, I'm certainly not talking about little green men from other planets in space, right? That would be silly, because space doesn't exist, right? So how can you have green men? There's no such thing as space, right? So that's kind of a turnoff for aliens, as it were, when it comes to a flat earther. On the other hand, when you New York, I thought that was the city that never sleeps, not the city that forever needs vaginal cream. Sorry, I'm tying my hair back again, y'all. Yeah, so, dude, I think what I ought to do, let me see if I can, even if I turn the ringer down, then that stupid white box is still going to fall in front of my control screen here. So you know what? I'll have to block these numbers. These people will just get infinite numbers because that's what they do, right? Like, oh, I'm going to troll this guy, and if he blocks me, I've got infinite phone numbers I can set up. So I'll just troll him forever because I have nothing better to do with my life than to blow this guy's phone up as he tries to make a live presentation. Not getting much love from the live stream. 34 thumbs up. I was like, dude, if y'all like this show, all 63 of you, that's pretty skimpy, right? Pretty skimpy, but out of 63, I got 34 people that like it. So that means there's like 30 people, not quite, 28 people sitting around watching this, and you don't like it. So, man, I'm good. I'm good. Let me tell you. Ignore you. Morgile's acting strange. El Nino. Oh, yeah, by the way, shout out to my people in Florida if you still got power. I know y'all are getting hit hard by Category 5 hurricane all the way up on that. Prayers go out to you guys, and I'm sure that everybody's going to be just fine. I hope John isn't hanging up on some best friend who has crashed into a ditch and is dying. Trying to reach John for an emergency, and I can't get through. Well, Nick, EPP, you know what? I hope you're where you get hurt really badly, man. I broke my ribs, and honestly, they still hurt. This is the end of June. I broke my ribs, and they still hurt. It takes a long time to heal up ribs. Yeah. So I really appreciate your concern. What are some of you people out there? Psychopaths? Like you have no ability. Like really, why would you joke about dying in a car accident? Oh, that's pretty funny stuff. Dying in a car accident. Ha ha ha. Dude, like you some of these people are just crazy, bro. Just crap, bro. I think Zeke calling Jared, I can't even read y'all's comments for this, man. Jerry Jones trying to get a deal done. Yeah, trying to get a deal done. Trying to get a deal done, Bumblefoot. Okay, sure I am. Twit, I need a Tartarian interior design for my house. You damn right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've always liked, you remember like Spencer's at the mall? This is so cheesy. Well, that's not a good example. Okay, Spencer's at the mall. They've got those little statues that look like statues. Or go out to the statue getting place on the side of the road, right? They always got them fenced in, but they got just statues everywhere. I think I'm gonna stay away from like little kids kissing in the you know, I'm not no Freemason asshole, right? But yeah, Tartarian interior design. I would like some, man. Well, really, Tartarian, I can't say the word. Pre-Diluvian ancient culture, civilization, kingdom. Interior design really is dependent upon the exterior design, right? So it's like you can't. You need a castle for that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're all gonna chip in. We're gonna buy a Tartarian castle. Interior design. Out of that thing, right? Damn right we are. That would be so much fun. Hey, did any of you guys ever play the game Suikoden? It was like on PlayStation. It's a Japan RPG game. You get the 108 Stars of Destiny, and one of them, they all sort of have the same plot, but there's several. But basically, you gather an army of 108 characters that you find all over the world, and you eventually take your castle that it was basically lost to time. It's an old castle that it hasn't been used, sort of like the one where the dragon chick lives in Game of Thrones, right? In the video game Suikoden, you take back your castle, which is supposedly, you know, right, and you turn it into the what's the word I'm looking for? The base or whatever. That's a really stupid word, but the base for the 108 Stars of Destiny army. So the Suikoden games are really awesome, but one of the installments in particular, I forget which one, is this beautiful Tartarian, definitely with rooms and terraces. Just, you know how it is. I ain't got to describe it to you. You know what it looks like. But so in this game, though, architecture was indeed like very ancient, very old, kind of feared and mystery. It's like a mystery to the people of the world. And you basically go and take it back and build it better than ever. So it's a lot of fun game, but I think it also sort of speaks to this, just as Game of Thrones does in many ways. It speaks to this, I don't even like to call it a theory, but it speaks to this truth, because there is definitely truth to this on many levels. Maybe there are some deception involved, and maybe there's some misunderstanding involved. For the most part, we're getting to the truth that this pre-ancient civilization that, you know, built the pyramids and the Taj Mahal and all the other ones, because, you know, pyramid and Taj Mahal are the only two in the world, not. This pre-ancient civilization may not have existed as long ago as we thought, right? Because we're often under the impression that, you know, Egypt was a few thousand years ago, and Sumeria was before that, and Göbekli was before that. However, you know, it's very possible that, especially when we deal with not knowing the age of rocks or not knowing how young rocks could potentially be, you know, there's a good chance that this stuff didn't happen all that long ago. Now, a lot of this technology is destroyed. The languages have been confounded, of course. Any sort of blueprints or actionable intelligence that may have been gleaned from these ancient places, I believe was systematically destroyed. Entities like the Vatican, namely, and other such clandestine, rapey organizations, just like the church, right? Yeah, so Tartarian, man, I'm just not going to say, up the Tartarian interior design. That is a tongue twister. Try to say that twice fast. Tartarian interior design. Okay, they sound fabulous. But hey, that's Twit. Love you, Twit. Okay, tinfoil hat out. What's up, brah? Royal Flush Knives Wife. Really invented that. Reyes de Leon. John is Reyes from San Antonio, Texas. This fucking idiot is calling me. Like, yes, you're so cool. You're disturbing my live stream. Your time. Like, wow. So you're annoying yourself and you're annoying me and everyone else for free. That is like definitely something we're spending time on. Wow. Yeah, so man, it is where it's at. The interior design, again, I mean, I like the motif, but man, if I see, you know, a couple of Tartarian statues and columns, then we're going to have to go all out on the entire house and probably just start from scratch because the foundation isn't even pimp enough to do a Tartarian sort of deal, right? I'm going to roll me a cigarette, but you know what, guys? You know what, guys? Guys, I'm going to bring you with me to roll a cigarette. Yes, I am. Because I love you. I love my YouTubers. Reyes de Leon, if you can call me later, brother. Hey, Reyes, if you're watching the show, yes, I will try to call you later. But if you don't hear from me, you know, after I get off of this stream, then I will call you back. Right? But yeah, call me back later if you will, and I will definitely try to call you. See, okay. Sorry, guys. Can you see me? No. Exhausted everything I wanted to touch on? Absolutely not. Yes, Reyes, I sure do, sir. I definitely do. I'll send you over the link if you don't have it. Okay. School is for losers. Foamfoot 420. Well, here's the thing. Where like people can start going to jail if you don't go to school. Like we thought we were lucky because they got rid of debtor's prison, right? You remember that? Like throw you into prison because you owe somebody money. Probably money that never existed in the first place, right? But yeah. So they got rid of debtor's prison. Now, prison if you don't force your children to be indoctrinated by the federal government. And by the way, government means mind control, as we all know, right? So, is it any surprise that mind controlling people? I mean, should we really be surprised? I mean, we know how these Mason guys are, right? Like, they have rules of, they basically have to what their plans are to deceive you before they do it, right? So, we're the government, and we're going to mind control you. And then you tell people, hey guys, you know the government's mind controlling people? I'm like, oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. I'm not even going to research into that because I already know you're stupid. Government mind control. Stupid conspiracy. Okay. So anyway, I'm just all over the place, man. But yeah, so when I was trying to explain mud flood to my wife, she basically, and it was the word mud flood. It just did something. It just pissed her off, man. You know, it really did. Like I'm getting, and this is before the whole thing that happened, right? Weird shit. Sorry, rolling me a cigarette. But yeah, so the don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so please blow up my phone as I roll cigarettes and try to do a live stream. Okay, I think I'm gonna throw up. No, I'm not. I'm not really. His mom or whoever that lady was lying on the floor slumped over hasn't made a peep in a few minutes. So, I can't see the... Hasn't made a peep in a few minutes, so maybe he has found peace. Some level of peace. It is a relative thing because clearly I'm still dealing with the assholes that are calling me constantly. Okay, wait a minute. Who still sends their kids to school? Do they hate them? Thank you. That's what I was talking about. So yeah, like they'll send you to prison for pretty much anything. Yeah. If you have a pill in your pocket, you're a felon if you get caught. Like really, if you have a pill in your pocket that's not in a prescription bottle, you are a felon now. You're lumped in there with murderers and people that had the wrong kind of salad in their pocket. Yeah, these all definitely belong in the same category, right? Sure they do. Sure they do. Rapists, murderers, breaking of course, don't forget the people who have mushrooms in their pocket. Those are felons too. Of course they are. Because we live in the Twilight Zone, where people are taught to believe that the ancients were and simple and somehow built these just amazing, massive structures beyond the scope of our knowledge or understanding how they did it. Yeah, they were stupid, and we're much better. We're much better, even though it costs us $26 million to build a generic ass school that goes up as cheaply as possible, and you might as well just decorate it. I was gonna say something vulgar, but I'm not. Might as well decorate it with and just make it real boxy, and we don't want it to spark any creative thought or here's another thing. I think that these ancient sites, not only do they visually sort of move you, that it's an experience to even view it. I'm sure being in them is even more of an experience, but I bet you when these things were turned on, man, could you imagine the buzz? I mean, I can imagine sort of a euphoric buzz by being inside one of these sorts of, I guess you'd call them machines, tech devices, to make life better, right? I mean, who doesn't like to feel better? Yeah, oh, that means I'm a heroin addict, according to the fucking rumor mills. And I get so tired of that. Going back to Bob, I'm just way all over the place. I'm so mad at this fucker that's calling me. Going back to Bob, man, yeah, I mean, it was nice what he said. That's a friend that you haven't spoken with and don't know anything about what's going on with them, really. But yeah, he needs to hit rock bottom, even though I don't really know what I'm talking about. I love you, Bob, but that's douchey, bro. I'm just saying, that's douchey. Yeah, but I love you. Love you, man. These fuckers just non-stop calling you, right? You are so cool. Okay, it's been on for 2 hours. People are dropping like flies. Jesus Christ. 62 people. Yeah, no, disinfo show. Yeah, disinfo show. So I'm sitting here speaking my mind about a topic that fascinates me, that the evidence is pretty much just as clear as the flat earth facts for. Evidence of structures all over the world that were certainly built by similar architects. In many cases, it really appears like some of these things were created by the same hand on far continents away, allegedly built. One example of this is the triple doors, right? So you've got, man, how was that backwards? So you got the three doors all right next to one another. One of them in the middle is like 35 foot tall, right? Big ass door, gate. Apparently for giants, right? That's what it looks like. And then on either side of that large door in the center, you've got two 20-foot tall doors, apparently for regular sized humans, or maybe even 8 or 9 foot tall. But you can find these sorts of structures with that exact setup, with the same proportions, often the same sizes, just all over the world, bro. All over the world. So, why would cultures all over the world just sort of decide, okay, we're going to build a giant door in the middle, and two sort of people-sized doors on the outside, and we're going to make them all look identical all over the world? That's it's just very good evidence to support the fact that this culture spanned the world. I mean, it's as crazy as it sounds, because of course our history books teach us that our our civilization sort of grew up independently of one another. Architecture styles and methods were not shared overseas. I mean, they have to stick to that dogma, right? That's their dogma, and they're sticking to it no matter what evidence comes to the contrary. That's science, right? It's the opposite of science, just like NASA, of course. Fucking people calling me. Oh, so annoying. But yeah, so writing styles, same languages found in different corners of the world at different times, carved in stone. Same architectural styles, just beautiful designs and techniques. It's just, it's the most amazing thing. And again, the thing about it that kind of gets me is like, we get Mandela effect because we've already sort of known 99% of this stuff for years, right? Haven't we? Like I've known about the Cleopatra. Maybe it wasn't Cleopatra, but there was a mummy in Egypt that they did, I guess, blood test or something, skin test, and found nicotine, tobacco, as well as cocaine in the mummy's system. And again, these two items, these two drugs, are typically or exclusively exclusive to the South Americas, right? So how in the hell are Egyptian mummies winding up with cocaine and nicotine in their blood when there was supposedly no trade between Egypt and the Americas at that time? So, I mean, this is evidence that really refutes the mainstream narrative and falls in line with the Sherpluckadonk, because I lost my train of thought. No, it falls in line with this understanding of the pre-ancient civilization, which knows no borders. Now, how much extra land is out there? Can you say? We don't know, but up to and including more land out there. So the notion of, like, as I said, extraterrestrials coming from other planets is ridiculous. However, extraterrestrials coming from a plane maybe south of the Antarctic is not only doable, but it also makes a lot of sense in many other levels. I've said this before, but hang on. People that have seen so-called aliens, and I don't think they're all lying necessarily, they say that these aliens have a head, 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, shoulders, arms, legs, feet, fingers, right? So they're humanoid, okay? These are humanoid aliens according to the people that have seen them. And if they were hypothetically coming from some other star system, some other galaxy, as they say, then we would physically have more in common with a garden tomato in terms of our genealogy. So the odds that some distant star civilization is humanoid is just absolutely ridiculous when you think about it, let alone finding us across millions of light years, as they say, in their theory. Whereas on reality, these entities, if they are real, flying UFOs, they could just be skipping across the plane from some other segment of the magnetic field, maybe even from the center, from Mount Meru, right? So the potential for sort of extraterrestrial beings with high technology hidden from our realm becomes highly likely, I would say, as a flat earther. And so the chasm between flat earthers and the doggone UFO enthusiasts needs to be bridged, because I think that flat Earth really makes the extraterrestrial phenomenon, and even potentially things like the ancient alien theory, doable. Whereas in the globe Earth theory, it's just fantasy, man. It's sci-fi, right? But the last thing we need to do is building up walls between the flat earthers and the UFO enthusiasts, because, I mean, we would make a great pair. And yeah, you UFO enthusiasts got a nice pair. No, I'm kidding. We need to get together with the UFO people, because hell, I am a UFO people. I've been into that crap for as long as I can remember. And when you realize flat Earth, it's like, oh man, I gotta throw away the aliens. That was all bull crap too. But when you really think about it, man, it does indeed make it does indeed make the alien potential really, I would say, doable. It's doable for them to have a craft that just skips across the plane, maybe a couple thousand miles at the most, right? So yeah, this whole thing with extraterrestrials. Not sure how I got off on that tangent, but there do appear to be ancient depictions on a lot of these monolithic sites, whether it's carved or whether it's drawn. Jesus. You'll see things like griffins, hybrid creatures, dude's body with a snake's head on the Egyptian sort of hieroglyphs, minotaurs, centaurs, whatever. I mean, and you look sort of esoterically at ancient texts. They say that, for example, in the days of Noah, if you look at what the days of Noah were like in the Old Testament, there were literally Nephilim hybrids going around. Okay, look at ancient Greek mythology. You've got lots of sort of hybrid creatures. And so what it appears, God, John, we hear you 205 because your hand is probing, hiding the microphone. Oh man, I'm sorry, y'all. Dude, like, what the fuck is your people's problem to do that sort of thing, man? Like, what, did you not get breastfed long enough? I mean, I'm gonna have to just kill this thing, dude. I guess they succeeded. Next time I'm gonna do it differently. But hey, man, I love you guys. I've already done over 2 hours on. Really, I don't expect this to be any sort of definitive mud flood Tartarian presentation, but it is just me sort of popping in, say hello. It's been a while, and just wanted to sort of get some of my initial thoughts because this is a big, big, big topic, man. It really is. Flat Earth is big. It is all important because, well, everything that happens on the world happens on the flat Earth, of course. Man, these motherfuckers are annoying. But however, this thing is important in some ways because it involves the literal stealing of our heritage, man. Like, we're talking about this sort of stuff is potentially our birthright. Free energy, free whatever, man. I mean, the potentials are really unlimited. I mean, there's so much that we probably don't know about this pre-ancient civilization and their capabilities that I believe that this is really, man, I think that this is dawn of a new golden age, man. Right? It's like the Mayan long calendar sort of reset itself back to noon 2012. You've got the age of Aquarius kicking into gear. You have all of these sort of ancient calendars and modern calendars and astrology coinciding. God almighty damn. Coinciding with, Jesus Christ. I know I didn't answer this, people. Well, if y'all can't hear me, I'm sorry. But, I don't even know. Coinciding with what? I don't know. My oh, you fucking thing. There. This channel, as always, is still viewer supported, so if you'd like to support the channel, it's entirely up to you. You can send your contributions to www.paypal.me/TheMorgile. Find a way, don't they? I mean, these fuckers got time on their hands to just mess with people. So love you guys. This has been my first live stream in quite a while, my first video in a while, and my first sort of initial soiree. Kingdoms of the pre-Diluvian civilization that I think we need to get this technology back, guys. I think that some sort of parasitic element of society has systematically throughout history taken over these technologies, hoarded it for themselves, and then used it and own slaves. That's pretty much not cool, man. Like, with these ancient sort of technologies that appear to be ubiquitous all over the world, this is our birthright, this is our heritage, our forebears created this stuff for everyone, not so that just a few oligarchs can profit on the back of his free energy devices, and of course the greedy corporate capitalists with the Thomas Edison Company, the Rockefellers, whatever, all these freaking buttheads, right? They want to bill you for your electricity, and they want to bill you out the ass for it, and so they basically want to, they don't want Tesla's vision to come true, where you can harvest energy for free out of wirelessly long distances and not have to really charge a bill for it. Maybe some connections or a small monthly bill for maintenance and stuff, but certainly not to the degree that they're just price gouging us when it comes to the so-called sources, right? So it's just, I think that, honestly, I think that this is yet another portion of Revelation. When Flat Earth is revealed to you, it seems like it can't get any deeper than that, right? I mean, what could be bigger or equally as big or and mud flood? It's like, dude, not only did they steal the ground that we walk upon and control us with prison for our minds as the globe, not only did they do that, but they also stole our inheritance and stole our birthright, stole our technology that was built by our forebears in order to benefit everyone so that we may have a platform. So the parasites have to go. I do believe that they are way fewer in number than we are. And so, as I've always said, it should be pretty easy, but if 99% of the regular population is just completely brainwashed with the idiot box, then it's kind of hard to, like I said, my actual wife, Mina, when I've been trying to give her little nuggets of basically, she's ready to divorce me, but this is not normal circumstances with us. But finally, yesterday, she got it. I figured out the way to describe it. And for her in particular, you can't use the words mud flood or Tartaria because she's just like, oh, what, do they make tartar sauce? That's stupid. In the comments there, but okay, I guess I've droned on long enough, but it's really good to be back, good to see you guys, and I love y'all. I can feel the love out there, although there's a lot of haters still. You're always going to deal with them, but sometimes haters turn into mud flooders, as we can sort of see with Mina, but she went from mud flood hater to pre-ancient civilization demon. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll try to keep y'all posted. If anything happens to me, right? If I'm sacrificed at some ball ritual, it was the demon. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna get to that. Ugh. All right, love you guys again. www.paypal.me/TheMorgile if you'd like to contribute. I have been unable to post for 3 months, and anything that you would like to help with would be terrific. All right. Thank you, guys. Just saying, you definitely need it. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you real soon. And, spread the word, spread the world. And, man, I got to add to that now because it's now Flat Earth and Tartari. I think the two go hand in hand. Oh, yeah, that's what the last point I wanted to make. I forgot about this. It really seems now to me that the whole globe Earth preposterous lies is inherently connected to our right. So I think they had to sort of do the great deception of the ball Earth in tandem in order to really, really get us by the short and curlies and imprison our minds on a ball at the same time. Nothing to see here with these ancient idiots. They just had horse and As I said, I'll see you again real soon. Probably sooner than later, because I'm going to figure out a better way to do this. This has been the most beautiful stream I've ever done, as well as the most, at the same time, tall. You fucking... I hate you, I hate me. Alright, how do I stop at a stream, man? I don't know. I don't know, man. Do you know how to stop at my stream? Alright, there we go. Alright, bye guys. Love you. Peace out.